Greetings, and welcome to the TCF Introduction video series. In this episode, we'll explore the procedure for getting user consent under the Transparency and Consent Framework, TCF, with a simplified example. As a quick recap, the TCF is an industry-wide initiative developed by IAB Europe to standardize user consent procedures under privacy regulations like the GDPR. The TCF builds up a standard with 3 steps, and in this video, we'll focus on the third step. The interface for getting user consent is typically a pop-up banner. We'll use the Guardian as an example in this case. But what happens after users make their choices on the banner? How does the standardized procedure work? Let's use a simplified example to visualize it. We'll begin with the simplest case. A publisher asks a user for consent on its own behalf and stores consent for the user. On day 1, user X visits Publisher A for the first time. Publisher A doesn't have any partner firms to transfer data, so it only needs user consent for Publisher A's own purposes. To ask for user consent, the publisher relies on a consent management platform, CMP. CMP is software that provides publishers with technical support in getting user consent. It also centralizes information about the user's consent, such as when, on which website, and what consent a user gave. When user X arrives at the publisher's website, Publisher A contacts its CMP via a CMP tag. A CMP tag is a JavaScript tag added to the website of Publisher A. Then, the CMP code runs on the page and checks if a transparency and consent string corresponding to Publisher A exists in user X's local storage, such as a first-party cookie. Since this is user X's first visit to Publisher A, no TC string exists. In such a case, CMPA shows a cookie banner on the website. The simplified cookie banner lists the 2 purposes covered in our example: selecting personalized content and measuring content performance. Next, user X makes choices on the cookie banner, selecting No for personalized content and Yes for performance measurement. CMPA then generates a TC string for user X and Publisher A by encoding the consent information in compliance with the TCF standard. In step 7, Publisher A stores the TC string locally on the device of user X. In step 8, Publisher A relies on its CMP API to decode the TC string. Then, Publisher A knows which purpose user X allows it to pursue. We represent the messages in the yellow box labeled Privacy Preference Information in the center. Publisher A can now measure content performance based on user X's data, but it cannot provide any personalized content to user X. On day 2, user X visits Publisher A for the second time. Steps 1 to 3 remain unchanged. Assume that user X has not deleted local storage since the previous visit. CMPA can detect and decode the previously saved TC string for Publisher A. As long as user X does not change consent information on the privacy policy page, Publisher A will rely on the stored consent information without needing to obtain permission again. The CMP API decodes the TC string into the information that user X disagrees with using their data to select personalized content, but the publisher can still measure content performance using its personal data. Then, Publisher A learns that it can only measure content performance based on user X's data. In other words, there is no need to show the cookie banner and go through steps 4 to 7 again. Even in the simplest case, obtaining and storing user consent can be complicated. The TCF provides a standardized procedure to summarize the process, and in our upcoming video episodes, we'll discuss more complex cases involving ad tech vendors and ad exchanges within the network. You can also check out our book, which delves deeper into these topics. Thank you for watching.